It's Flashback Friday, our trip down memory lane. We love celebrating the products that help shape our journey, pieces that sparked creativity, solved problems, or simply brought joy. Today, we're revisiting those standout classics and giving them the spotlight they deserve. Now, one note, some of the items used may show up as out of stock, but the main items are still here for you. Each flashback features an exclusive limited time deal so you can score legendary products at legendary prices. Okay, let's get ready to rewind, rediscover, and save big. Brand new for 2016 are our interlocking cards, and wait till you see the dazzles that go with them.
They are beautiful, and those cards come in ovals, frames, and hearts, and the dazzles in 4 different finishes.
Right.
Just beautiful.
And wait till you see what the design team has done. Come play with us. And ta-da, here are interlocking cards.
Our ovals, hearts, and frames.
Right.
And we're going to start with ovals.
Let's go ahead and start.
Okay, so we start with ovals, and we can take those off to the side. And within each of these kits, you're going to get 3 cards and 3 envelopes. On the front, you're going to see an example. You're showing how it interlocks there. And on the back, we have instructions on how to remove the pieces on the sheet you're going to use. We're going to show you all that. And another idea here, and the pieces that are within the kit. There's also a little note down here I want to point out. It says, for paper patterns to cover your card and for card ideas, go to paperwishes.com. You search for the card name, and then you're going to get a download of the paper patterns that you can use for your card. So the package itself, like it says, it has all of those pieces, 3 cards, 3 envelopes.
Of each one. And while we're here, I think I'll show you the dazzles because they are really amazing. And these are the larger 8-inch by 9-inch sheets. We have the same cutting die used on all of them. So it's going to do the heart, the oval, and the frame. And you see it in the brown with the gold. You see it in the silver pearl with gold on the edges. You see it in brown, and you see it in the mirror gold. So and all 4 finishes.
All 4 finishes, and what you're going to see are parts that make it easy to apply directly to your card. And the pieces that come within that kit, when you open up your package, you're going to get they're already folded.
This is the oval.
This is the oval, and you're going to start by removing the end there.
Just pull that sucker off.
These are die-cut pieces. You pull out this piece, that piece, and now you have it ready. It is scored, ready to fold right along those score lines. I'm going to do it on the right. And on the left, right along that line, using a bone folder is perfect for getting that crease nice so it'll lay flat. Now, the interlocking piece is taking this piece, putting it through that hole, and it interlocks. It's as simple as that. There are also some die-cut pieces here. These are the pieces that you're going to get. A large die-cut frame piece, which you can remove from there. You can remove the oval from the center. When you do that, you can use these ovals as labels. You can put them on inside of your card, on the outside of your card. You get 2 separate ovals, 2 different sizes.
And they are slightly smaller. This particular one is going to go on the front of your card. This inner piece is going to the inside of your card.
You can use them just like that.
In fact, let me show you.
This piece is going to set right on there, and okay.
Here we go. In fact, if you want to, let me have that frame back. Okay. This is a finished card, and this is using the new Colorist collection, which we're going to show you next week, but this is a nice preview. So the front of let me just open up this card so you can see how that inner locking mechanism works. So we have covered each of the panels, so you can see right there and there. This is part of the panel, but this completes it. So if you want to put that on top.
Right, so this is what was placed here. It was inked in red, or was it, no, it was covered in paper, I can believe it was covered in the paper from the colorist, and then it was set on top of there, and then the paper towel was set on top of that piece.
And on this this oval, this is that separate piece that's all by itself, and so that has been inked or covered with black cardstock, either way, and placed on top of the design that's right here. So you can see it's right there, and this just fits right on top, and it's going to interlock just like that.
You do have to be conscious of where you're placing the paper towel or die cuts on the front of it so that it doesn't interfere with that interlocking mechanism. If you were to only use the parts that come within the die cut card package, it would look like this. You've got that base, you've got one of the ovals here, you've got the die cut frame there.
But you have another one that could go on the inside too.
Right, you could put another one of those labels right in the center, and that is just as we were showing the interlocking.
So there you keep that, and here it is decorated just like so. So that interlocking part. Now, this frame is really important, I think, to finishing the design. And when we first designed these, as when we did the inside out cards last year, I was thinking, gee, I wonder different ways to cover it. Certainly to cover it with paper is an easy way to do it, but what else can you do? And that's what we're going to be showing. So just to finish this card where we're here, this whole piece was done keeping it as just one piece. We didn't use that other oval because this does end up covering it totally. So
you've got those color me papers, colorist papers. Colorist papers on the inside. You've got the colorist dazzles here, and the paper towel. It's just beautiful. It's really simple. It looks a little bit intimidating, I think, or maybe when you hear interlocking, I'm not sure, but it's very simple to do.
We'll show you. And it's the same idea on all three cards, where you're going to have these frames and the inner pieces. Now, if for another look and to use the dazzle, look at this.
An entirely different look.
Wow. And this is the same interlocking oval. Let me just slide that out.
But in this case, we're using our Mystic Garden paper pack and collection.
Now, something else that's happening on this side is that on the first one, it was done this way, so that the interlocking piece went in. In this case, they turned it over. Let's see, Lene did this, and decided to have it go this way.
To do the other way.
Perfectly fine.
You can also turn it lengthwise and do it the other way. We'll see that later on.
We will.
But
you mean like that? You can go like that?
And I love those dazzles on there. So, okay, the dazzles here look a little bit different.
Yeah, now these aren't any of the finishes that I saw, so what gives, lady?
Well, we started off with this one. I didn't do it.
This is the pearl.
This beautiful pearl, the silver pearl here, but to make it a little darker, you can put StazOn ink on there. I want to point out that these are done in pieces. The pieces you see here, they're separate. You can see this one, this oval, is also in pieces. It looks like a complete oval, but when you peel it up, it's in pieces like this, so that makes it very easy to place.
In fact, it's used on the inside. So, and the ease of putting those down was really paramount on our minds when these were designed.
Right. If it was a large oval with this big, huge opening in the center, it could be a little cumbersome to place on those die cuts.
Okay, it would end up being a wad.
It might be. So in pieces like this, you just lay that piece down. I have a craft sheet here, and I've got a StazOn ink pad. You can use it directly from the ink pad, or you can use a cosmetic wedge and just, I'm going to tap it on there just to get a little bit of the ink, just to get a little bit of that sort of a tarnished look. I'm going to keep adding until we get, you can even sort of rub it around a little bit, but you see how it changes. The gold on the edges is sort of changing to black, and a little of the silver still peeks through, and then you just pick that up.
You mean the large effort we did to put the gold on the edge you've just tarnished?
Well, yeah, but you can use that on another card, and it will look beautiful, and now you've got that.
If you'll hold that,
look.
can you turn it? Because that's going to go here.
Right.
Just like so.
So that's the part that you're seeing. So it's simple to place
and will you
on
bring
this
over
side
the sheet?
And then
Thank
on the
you.
sheet, you've
And
got
then
the other pieces.
Here's the top crown that goes right there, the bottom crown that's gone, and then the side piece. So there's 4 pieces that makes that oval.
Right.
But it's going to fit perfectly onto the oval frame, that separate piece that you
So
have.
simple to place.
Yeah.
And a beautiful look. That's just a rich, elegant look.
Isn't it? Now this is the Mystic Garden. Something else I want to point out is this area as well as this area ends up being just a rectangle. So you can just put glue on that and cover it.
That's right.
This is the additional oval, so you can treat that as a separate piece.
And it's going to cover up the remaining piece that doesn't have
Right.
paper. So it's just strips, 2 strips right here, 1 here and 1 on the other panel.
Right.
Very simple to
Easy.
cover. We do have the paper patterns for those to make it easier if you prefer. I also want to point out that on those dazzles there are lots and lots of sentiments. So you can choose your sentiment. Get well, I think it says thinking of you on the front.
And
happy birthday.
This one is using either the black or it's been inked. And then this has been inked, but then this is using the pearl just as it comes.
Right.
So
And
you can
those
mix,
have been inked,
yeah,
for sure, but
mix
it's
those
just
finishes.
Right.
So again, the interlocking, that's just how tough it is.
Did you notice the tiny little
jewel dazzle.
Yeah, I can't tell whether they're red or
I think
pink.
it's pink.
But pink.
Yeah.
Pink jewel dazzle.
Just right in
Nice
the
little
edge.
addition.
If you've got them, use them. Now, what's going on here? This is obviously the Mystic Garden set. This is more of the paper towel that is filling up that beautiful center interlocking
Well, that's
oval.
the nice part of this is that you've got that nice big oval for a focal right in the center, and that's where you're going to add your sentiment or butterflies or whatever
Right,
you
your
want to put
focal.
on there.
Now, thinking of you, as Gail said, there are many words and phrases on the sheet of dazzles, and you get 4 of those. So that's right down there. Shows off beautifully against that black
Right,
Mystic
4
Garden.
sheets with
Yeah.
lots of sentiments on each one, so you're getting an awful lot of sentiments there.
Okay, so we have the interlocking frame. You can see it.
Oval. The
Excuse me,
interlocking
oval.
oval.
I lied.
That's
oval,
all right.
Oval,
And
oval.
the next one
is
that
the
we're going
heart.
to- okay.
Yes. So you want to bring in the pieces.
Okay.
Right.
Do we,
Here's,
I thought maybe we were going to.
yeah, we can show the package.
There
Here
we
we go. And the package is same thing, 3 cards, 3 envelopes. There are 3 pieces that create it, the basic one and then the die-cut pieces
The
that
die-cut
finish
pieces.
it.
So here is the large die-cut piece that is already scored, ready to fold. You're going to pop out this piece.
And this is going to
one.
make the window, which is going to do the
Right.
interlocking.
Remember, you can do it that way,
Yeah.
or you can do it this way. And then these large pieces, one is that smaller heart, which you can use to mat, or you can put that on that's intended
goes on
for
the
the front of
front.
your card. And then the other die-cut pieces are the large heart, which is ready for the front of your card. And then when you pop this out, you can save this for the inside of your
Right.
card if you like. So
Right.
these are the 3 main elements are this one and these 2.
And
when you put them together,
so this little part is going to go through the window that you just created,
just like that,
like so. But then when you add the frame,
then you've got this. I've got the heart die cut here, and I've got that heart frame on this side. They interlock like so, and
it's just
make
done.
a beautiful card.
Yes.
So let's see what that looks like.
okay,
when it's
here
all
is
decorated.
one. Now, this heart, wow, this is using the Artful Watercolors set in addition to the stamp. But look at that frame, it really pops. And that was done with what?
That was done with embossing powder, and this is an amethyst embossing powder. It's really got kind of a pretty purple look to it. You could use just about any embossing powder. We've got all kinds of embossing
We
powders
do.
now. Wow glitters and lots of fun stuff. And I've got the Versamark here, and I've got that heart. I'm going to place that heart right there, and you can just press that directly on. And I would do the entire piece. I would go around and do the whole heart, but right now I'm not going to be wholehearted. I'm just going to do part of it.
You're going to be half-hearted?
I'm going to half-heartedly put part of that heart.
Pardon us.
And then add the embossing powder. Very simple. Put it on there, shake it around a little bit, make sure it's everywhere, tap it off, and then get out your heat gun and go ahead and heat that. And when you're done,
you will have something like this. Now this is a pearl finish. Think of what those glitter embossing powders are going to do.
Oh,
just
yeah.
really, really fun. And you can see, we'll back up just a smidge, how that heart really, that frame finishes that front. It really completes it. Now, as you know, when you have the piece itself, you've got a half heart out there that has the window. So that piece is going to simply finish that off. But you only need a rectangle to cover that section.
Right. I love
and a rectangle to cover that section. Now you can go.
Now I love that you can choose where you want to cut this paper. You strategically put some little emblem like that bird down in the lower left corner. You'll still be able to see it.
Right. Now on the interlocking part, that heart has been covered with the artful watercolor papers and then stamped.
Stamped and embossed with the same embossing powder, and that's the Artful Affirmation stamp set.
There we go. So follow your art with a heart behind it. And then on the inside, we've covered the whole thing with the artful watercolor, and then use the inner heart on the inside of the card. Same idea.
Same idea.
Same
just
stamp
covering
set.
with paper, stamping it, and then what a beautiful look. I love the twines and that have been wrapped around that. Comes with the Artful Watercolors ribbon set.
And I also like how strategically this has been located, that it gets covered up by the heart. And that heart, of course, is going to interlock right there.
Like so.
Just like so. So what a striking card
it is.
to give and receive. Now, if you want to add dazzles, this is what it might look like.
Now, this is just beautiful. I love that the size of that heart actually extends past the edge of the card.
But it fits the envelopes that are inside.
Fit the envelope. And this is an example of mixing and matching those dazzles. Because you have 4 sheets that come all together, you've got pieces that you can lay within there. Now, one way of doing this is one at a time, placing those innies in there. Another way is using the clear transfer sheet that will be very helpful in transferring those pieces. Okay,
and so you can see the pearl as well as the mirror sheet has been in combination on this card. And you've got the one die cut here is the smaller die cut heart is here, but these were backed. This particular heart dazzle was backed on black cardstock, so you've got another piece to pop up there. Very striking. This is also using the colorist papers, and this is either a piece of cardstock you could use, or you could simply ink it. Sure. Which would be easier than cutting around all those scallops. Right. Isn't it kind of neat that you've now, on this one, I think it's kind of interesting that there are 2 different papers used on both panels. Very different. That's a really interesting look, and then a little bit of ribbon on the top and bottom of just one side. Now, this is another example of when we did the instructions, we had the heart over on this side so that this wraps around, but in this case the designer opted to have it coming in from the left. Do that Makes any no way difference. You like. Makes no difference. The only thing you're changing is which way you're folding those scores in the vertical scores. Just make sure you use the bone folder to get a nice crease. So as you can see, we add a little tag with the word love that's part of the dazzles, and then again another of the hearts. You get 3 of them. Has been covered with paper and added dazzles. And on the inside, I like the strip of paper back there too. It sort of makes it look like it's wrapped in that. And this is something I haven't seen done. Just another of the swirl dazzles, kind of anchoring at the bottom. That's a nice shiny touch. Little border piece. So there's our hearts.
A nice mixing and matching of the dazzles, and I think we're moving on to another interlocking card.
To the frames, and this is one that's going to work beautifully vertically as well as horizontally.
Right.
Same idea, same number of pieces, same number of cards and envelopes, and the instructions are on the inside of the package.
That's
and
right.
You're going to show us.
And here are the pieces. So here's that large base. I'm going to remove the outer piece so that you can see that frame, and I'm going to remove the little inner die cut
that makes the window.
Set those aside, and now you have these pieces ready. They are scored and ready to fold.
That crash you heard was the bone folder dropping to the floor.
That's all right, I don't need it right at the moment. And then the die cut pieces that go with it, this is the smaller square, which will go on.
Nope, that's the larger.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. It goes on the front.
Okay, that one goes on the front, and then you've got...
Remember, the inside of that goes on the inside of the card?
Right, the smaller one, okay. This one goes on the front, the one that I just removed, and then this is the frame.
Right.
The frame goes on the front, and that inner larger die cut will go on the center. It's a little bit larger.
On the inside, yeah.
On the inside of your card. So these are the pieces.
Right, and as always, our interlocking comes like this.
Right.
Just
and then
like so.
You'll use that to finish it off. You do
Right.
have to turn this the right way, by the way. It's different this way than it is that way.
Right, because it has the peaks.
And when it's done, it's going to be interlocked just like that with the pieces that we talked about.
And you'll have an extra. And here is a finished card. Now, wow,
Well,
this is fun.
There's a little bit extra. There's some different things going on.
There's a little bit extra.
with this
I wonder
one.
who made this,
Oh,
Gail.
well, that might be me, but you know, it's steampunk, and so I just grabbed that and started playing.
It is steampunk. So this is the steampunk stamp. Thought I might give you that. Now, what's going on with the frame? How did that become silver?
The frame was inked with StazOn. So take that frame, and I used metallic silver StazOn, and I used a sponge to ink that nicely.
That's a nice way to do it.
So that's one thing. I want to point out the top of the card,
Yeah, let's
too.
talk about the top of that card.
So that was done with a design toolkit. It's a new design toolkit number 10.
Okay.
One of my new personal favorites. It's layered labels. It's got all of these great layered labels in there, and I took one of them. They're named. This one is Betty.
Hi, Betty.
And I put Betty up at the top of the card. I used one of the inner pieces. So once I covered the left panel and the right panel, okay, so I covered those with rectangular pieces.
Right.
Then I placed the template up on the top.
Betty.
I was going to say it, but I didn't. Okay, I put Betty up on the top there, and I traced along on both sides.
Wow.
And then removed that, cut it out, and you can go ahead and cut that side too. And that gives you a nice decorative
That's
edge.
very fun. Very nice.
I thought that was great fun.
Yeah.
I also made sure that I situated the design of that paper across,
steampunk paper,
right, across
yeah.
both sides. And
I'm really glad you did this because it lets us see that you truly do only need those two rectangles.
You only have to.
Don't worry about not covering those
because
pieces.
those are the die cut pieces
Right.
that are going to cover that up.
Right.
So when you get back to the card,
When we get back to the card, now you also did some stamping on the corner there, which
on
is
the
just
corners
lovely.
and across these, and I do have to show you a little bit of how I did that. This is a separate piece.
Right.
It's been stamped and layered on different papers, and there's also a piece of acetate. If we turn that a little bit, you can see it was also stamped and placed on top of that piece. But when you open it,
The interlocking. Now there's the other piece
Right.
that goes on the inside.
on the
If you opt
inside.
to use it, there is the piece. Oh, so you
that's
did some
stamped there.
stamping
So-
there.
and I have to say the reason I did that, these stamps are the steampunk stamps, and they have all of this extra little scrolls, and I didn't want to lose that. So first I stamped on that piece.
Okay.
So you had that in the background. And then I took the two die cut pieces, put them together like this, and stamped at the same time in that same area. And when you look at them, you can tell where to stamp. So I did that, and then when I was done, it was
that's
stamped. Yeah, it was stamped on this piece as well as on that frame piece in the front. So I knew right where to set that.
Right, okay, so
So a little bit of engineering just because it's kind of fun.
just a little bit. But you can see how this is lining up with the
Right.
one back there.
And if that's difficult, you don't absolutely have to do that. You
Yeah.
can just stamp this separately, but you do have to pay attention where you put your elements on the frame so that they don't interfere
Right.
with that interlocking. piece.
And it's okay if they touch. Now this is actually
Right.
coming over pretty far into that frame, but because this is loose, it's not interfering
It's
with
not
the
interfering.
interlocking.
And I did like the idea of adding ribbon down on the frame so it goes all the way across. I love the
Right.
ribbons that come with that set as well.
And I like how the
Fun
light bulb is hanging down there, very fun.
Right.
And on the inside, we have You Light Up My Life part also of the stamp. And that same thing has been done here where it has been stamped, this time with the silver
Right.
and
First
on
in-
acetate.
First on the background with a black stays on,
Ah.
then on another piece of pattern paper so you could see a different color behind the bulb, and then I glued that in place and then stamped with the silver. And I offset it just a little bit so you could see that black outline.
Yeah, that works really nicely.
So just lots of layering, that's all that
and
is.
some silver dazzles there. You Light Up My Life. So you can do them simply. You can do them more involved, less involved, whatever you like, but it all works beautifully. Now we need to have another one using dazzles.
Okay.
This is going horizontally.
And there you go, something different that you can
Right.
do. I love that look, and I love those papers. That is with the
Floral Fantasy.
Fantasy paper.
Yes, now this is the brown set, and you can see they've just been used exactly as they are. However, I see a little bit of coloring. Let's get in
Right.
close so we can see that.
So you can just add a little color, and that's
Yeah.
done with a kind of a two-step process. With those are the metallic
FX
mica powders.
mica powders, right. Oh, okay. So I was thinking it would be the Spectrum North. So this is using the sticky embossing powder.
And,
Okay.
and the way Debbie did that is she placed the dazzle right onto that pattern paper.
Okay,
She
Floral
actually
Fantasy.
used a Versamark pen so that she could really
Sure.
control it. Went around just the center. You can do that on the center. You can do a little bit on the flowers as well. But once you have that on there, go ahead and add the sticky embossing powder. And what happens is once you add that on there and you heat it with a heat gun, then it's going to remain a little bit sticky. Do you want
Hence
me
its name. Yeah, go
Right.
ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to heat that up with the heat gun. That doesn't take very long. And just enough to melt it.
And they're granules, so you'll see them, or at least I can see
There you
them
go.
melt.
They melted. They're a little bit shiny. And once that's done, you get out your metallic effects. I think it was the kiwi in this case, the mica powders. They're super shimmery and shiny. You can just take a little brush and apply them just like that, and they stick.
And look at the texture that you're getting.
Right.
That is so pretty.
Isn't that fun? She did
Yeah.
the same thing on the little flowers, just a little bit at a
Oh.
time, added them to those flowers with different colors.
And she put a dazzle in the center. How pretty.
Beautiful.
Now this, you can really see how the pieces on the frame are going to work nicely. So you can see how this is actually separate from this one.
Right.
And from this
Simple
one.
to apply, but I love how at the bottom she actually left that piece
Yeah.
off, and it left room for the sentiment.
Right. So our interlocking part, you might ask, back up just a touch so we can see this action, and that's just going to go like that. And this is one of the other pieces that's been die cut, covered out with
Right.
paper.
I love this. These are little corner pieces,
Yeah.
but Debbie turned it around. Instead of putting this flower portion in the corner, she turned it around and made a little box in
I
the corner.
see.
Very sweet.
All
You
four
put
of
those
them.
little flowers there. This piece was one piece that she cut apart to go on either side of that label.
Okay, and again, so this can become vertical or horizontal.
Right.
As the oval could, probably not the heart,
And this
but
is
the
a-
other two can.
This is a 6.5 inch long card. You can also cut the edges down and make it a smaller card, make it a square card.
If you want to, sure. But there you go. So interlocking you can do, as I said, with the oval, with
you've
the
got
heart,
frames, you've got that big beautiful heart.
and big, beautiful dazzles.
Dazzles. Lots of options there. They're simple to put together, as you can see. It was really pretty simple to do.
But they give excellent, beautiful results.
See you next time.
Whenever we can put together cute and practical, that's a good thing.
I think so too. And even better is when we have a tool, so we can make it a reusable thing.
That's right.
And this week we've got yummy cupcakes, cute and calorie free.
Well, let's look at the finished result first.
Okay, look at this cute cupcake. So I'm showing it from the side here.
Okay.
And then here's up at the top with a cute little flower and a brad. You'll notice that we've got two different pattern papers. So we've got this cool mosaic down here and then this kind of faux texture pattern paper.
And then a little topper.
Yeah, so show me the template.
Okay, so here's what the template looks like. Now we've got to get back because this is a 12 by 12 template.
Yeah, super big template. What I love about the templates, Paulette, is that it's a tool. So it's reusable. I can use this as many times as I want. I can make as many cupcakes as I want.
You can, and you can make two types of cupcakes. There's a yummy cupcake and then there's a delicious. So in looking at this, do you want to bring the cupcake back in and just show the pieces? There are three pieces that makes this. So there's a bottom,
which I'm showing right
which
here.
is separate, and then there's the cupcake itself, and then as you showed, there's a topper.
Right, so the cupcake just sits inside the bottom part, the little wrapper, and then you just attach this on the top with a Zot or a glue dot or something.
Right. So as with all the templates, you're going to put the template on the back of your pattern paper, trace around the area, remove the template and cut it out. But just again, as we said, this brown area on the template is the holder.
Right.
And then the larger area, which is kind of hard to see on your monitor, is the cupcake itself, and then the toppers are down toward the bottom.
Right.
So.
And you can mix and match those toppers too, so that you can have all kinds of different looks.
So I'm going to slide in here. We have cut out, this is the cupcake itself from the one that you just showed. Looks like this. One of the things I just want to point out is that in manufacturing the template, they can't give the cut lines all the way because otherwise the template will fall apart.
Okay.
So there's
all the way to the center, you mean?
Right. So you just want to make sure, and if we can get in close here, maybe I can illustrate, that you want to make sure that when you cut, that the slits go all the way to the fold lines.
Right.
Okay?
And that'll make it easier to get around this area here too.
Right.
Just for, you know, me and my scissor.
Well, and
friends for looking out for things like that.
So you can see that we've marked the fold lines, and there are 3 on each section of the cupcake itself. So we just spent a moment and folded each of those in, and did that all the way around. And then the template goes, or the cupcake goes together pretty simply. We're just going to put glue on those little areas that are going to get folded on top.
So this is one of the few templates that we have that requires adhesive, because most of the other ones just kind of fold and tuck together. So you'll want just a regular stick glue. That's probably the best way to go, rather than a tape tab or something.
So I've put glue on the inside of the tab, and then I'm going to bring it up on the fold, and I'm going to overlap the curved area onto the straight. And I'm going to do it again. So I want to see if you can see that. Okay, there's the little tab. It's going to go on top, and because I've put glue on it, it's just going to get glued all the way around.
So could you put those flaps on the inside if you wanted them?
Absolutely.
So it can go either way.
And we've got some other cupcakes here, so we'll be able to demonstrate those. So as this goes around, so let me do that. Now all of the tabs are glued in place, and I hope you can see these. They're glued on top. It is a bit easier if you let those dry, and that will hold it. Then we move on to the next step, which is the top part. Now this is the delicious cupcake, and it has these curves which are going to remain puffy when it's done. So I'm going to take 3 of them, and I'm going to work counterclockwise, and I'm going to hold them together at the top tab. So 1, 2, 3, so I'm just holding them. I'm going to take the next one and let that little tab tuck under, get this so you can see it, tuck under the first one so that it is now holding them like so, okay? And then I'm going to take the third one, again, keeping the curved spot on top, and tuck that under. And then I'm going to take the last one, which I want to make sure on the side here that it does go under that curve. And then I'm going to take that tab and also tuck it in. And that will, sometimes that one is a little difficult, but there we are. So we have the puffiness, as you can see, and in this one, as I said, the tabs were on the outside, but I noticed on our completed one that the tabs were actually on the inside, so you can do it either way. This is the Yummy Cupcake, and I want to make sure that you see how to fold it. So we'll go into the cupcake part itself. We've glued the area around, and it's set for a minute, so it's ready. Now the folding is pretty simple. You're going to take 2 of these swirls and interlock them. Just let them interlock like so. Okay, so when that happens, then you can keep interlocking others. So they're just placed right in that little indentation. So I'm just walking them around and sliding them under, and as with all of Susan Niner Jane's templates, when you get to these last 1 or 2, you've got to lift up the first one and tuck in the last, and there you go, a fun little pinwheel at the top.
Okay, Paulette, so this is the bottom of the cupcake.
The holder.
The holder. And this is how it is on the pattern paper. I'm going to show you the flip side of this so you can see the various areas where we've got these cut and pre-folded.
So same thing, you've got the fold lines that are marked, and the same thing also as on the cupcake is you've cut all the way to the fold line.
Right,
okay.
So that you've got this shape inside here.
Okay.
And all you're going to do is, I've pre-folded these, you know, just to make it a little bit easier. As I'm going around, I'm just going to fold and then glue this flap either onto the outside or, again, onto the inside.
So exactly the same way.
Exactly the same way.
Did.
And then you're just going to go around until you have this little holder. Now, one thing I want to point out is that we've actually sanded around the outside edges of the little cupcake holder before putting it together. So when you've got it flat, cut it out, then just go along the edges, maybe with a an emery board or a piece of sandpaper, and
so with that thought, because you sanded, you could also ink.
Oh, absolutely. You could ink, you could chalk, you could do all kinds of different things. Gotcha. So it's very, very simple.
Okay, let's see the finished. Oh, there's also one more piece. The fun piece is the topper. And again, there are 2 versions, so exactly the same way. This one was also sanded. You can kind of see the white edges. And turning it over, you can see where we've marked the fold lines. And then we've first folded in and then unfolded each one. Same process. And then these just fold on top of each other, going around. And as with almost all of Susan's templates, you're going to get to a point like this, and then you're going to need to lift the first one and bring the bottom.
Right, and you kind of lift and twist it a little bit so that it sits right inside there. And as you're going along, ta-da, you got it done.
Okay.
And then you can just add a brad in the center like we've got here. And the brad actually just goes through that little flower, and then this flower portion has been zodded in place so that you can just pop that either kind of toward the side or right in the center. You'll want to keep in mind before you put that flower topper on there, though, if you want somebody to get inside the cupcake,
what do you do, Sarah?
The contents, you'll need to make sure that you don't have it like super glued on there, or you have it off to the side so they can still get into whatever little treat you've got in there.
You know, one of the fun things about this template is mixing and matching the patterns.
Oh, sure.
And you're going to find some fun. We have a bundle offer, but you're going to find some fun playing with that. So here is a pink dot, and then this is a plaid.
Yeah,
going
and
underneath.
if we can get in a little bit more closely here, you can see, just as you mentioned earlier, Paulette, this has been inked with brown, and it really helps it to stand out. I think anytime you mix and match pattern papers, you want to have a little bit of a mat or a border, you know, something to separate the 2 patterns. inking is a great way to do that.
It is, and that works great for the side. Now on the top they didn't do that, but you know there's so much dimension going on that works. Now right here, this is the swirl top.
It's a cherry.
It is a cherry, and it's made out of red glimmer paper.
Right.
So that's just a nice way to go. You have one?
I've got another one, and this is so cute because it also includes this little cupcake tag shape, and that is also on the template.
Exactly, and just like you said, this has been chalk, so this one has been done in 2 pieces.
Right.
Just to give a little more dimension.
Yeah, you could do it in 2 or in 1. And on here, we've added a silk flower with the brad on top of this little folded piece. So again, we've mixed and matched